his father's son, Ernest Orlando Ellsworth.
Ernest Orlando Ellsworth was born into the Eugene and Hattie Ellsworth family in November of 1873. The home was destroyed 1 year later in the Great Fire of 1874. The Ellsworths were a prominent young family in their mid-20s. Eugene Ellsworth had been successful in business as a young man, and Ernest was expected to do the same. From a young age, he was educated in business and leadership. By 1875, the Ellsworths had built a new home at the southeast corner of Roxsylvania and Oak. It became Ernest's official lifetime residence. Ernest attended the Shattuck Military and Business Academy in Minnesota. Although in his mid-40s in 1917, he did not serve in World War I, his education helped him to prepare young men for overseas service. Eugene Ellsworth had great confidence in his son. Ernest traveled extensively and was given great responsibility over business projects in Chicago, Minnesota, and on the East Coast. From the time it was built, Ernest spent the remaining 45 years of his life as the operational officer of the Metropolitan Opera House. This included hiring manager Matt Kickles, programming, and budgeting. In addition to managing his father's businesses, Ernest had business projects of his own. This also included managing the huge Ellsworth lands, holdings, and estate when his father died in 1907. Two of the farms were endowed to Ellsworth College, which was on difficult financial footing at the end of the First World War. It became a 2-year college. Ellsworth Hospital closed on occasion and was also a challenge to keep financed. It evolved during Ernest's lifetime. Ernest also succeeded his father as president of the First National Bank at the southwest corner of Washington and Stevens. Ernest served as president of the bank for many years. In those days, certain banks could issue their own currency. The First National Bank failed in 1932 as a result of the Great Depression. This could not be laid at Ernest's feet, however. It was due to many economic conditions and the government's reaction to them during the Great Depression, which lasted for 11 years. Despite having lived in other locations, Ernest's official home was still the Ellsworth Mansion in 1930. His grandfather had been a legislator in Wisconsin, and his father had lost a tightly contested election for the Iowa legislature in 1889. This gave Ernest an intense interest in politics. He served 4 terms in the Iowa legislature during the difficult 1930s. He was a candidate for Republican Speaker of the House in 1935. Ernest served the 64th District, which at that time was Hardin County in Iowa. Here is some information about his legislative service and his life during the early 1930s when he served in the Iowa legislature. Ernest Ellsworth retired from the legislature to his home in Iowa Falls in 1937. He is considered to be one of the 3 wealthiest men in the state of Iowa at that time. Much of his life had been devoted to preserving and protecting his father's estate and the projects such as the college and the hospital that his father had initiated. Ernest remained a benefactor, however. He was the primary donor for the old City Hall, which has just been replaced this past year. Ernest insisted that the cornerstone contain the inscription, erected by the citizens of Iowa Falls without a bond levy, 1941. Ernest died in 1945 from a heart condition. He is buried in Union Cemetery with his parents.